Even when power is arbitrary and your ass is being annoying, it's like I don't owe you anything. And like I just want to put some frames into perspective. Is I'm not going to describe the things that I really would like to say out of arrogance or out of the truth. Because some things are just like, put it this way, limitless bounds means that arrogance to me probably doesn't exist. Because I told you I'd do it. Or you mind your own fucking business. It's one or the other, like, Or let's put this into perspective for you. Let's put the ground rules down just so that you can think without being so incorrect to the point where you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I have nothing that I have to dishonor to take a advantage about you in this. And I look at the situation and I'm like, do you realize that for all people that would have some sort of power or would be minding their own fucking business or know a lot about the world because it's all trash and that we don't know why any of this has to be real or why reality is just made that way because we don't owe you, and like conceding to compensate your bullshit or your weakness or your incorrectness or about most spiritual things, and it's just like all I have to do is not say things. Like that's all I have to do is hit the fucking brakes on this car every one fucking once in a while. That's all. But when I sit there and I realize how far gone you must be to think that this is a tactic or that it even works, this is not how competition works. Competition isn't a head game. Competition, playing head games doesn't even make you good at anything. In fact, nobody plays really head games with me. I've never been in those realms and those arenas because there's no way to play head games with me because I'm just doing my job. Like, I'm doing my motherfucking job. Like, either way, I'm doing my fucking job. I don't care how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it like a spiritual coward or some shit, then, there is no job for you. But even if you act like that's your profession, you're still trash and I don't owe you. But either way, let's put this in perspective. You are not me and I'm not you. No matter what you do, even if you're sitting on there, the only thing that's called is sabotage. What you even learn probably isn't even that good, and you're still gonna have to own up to the basic formula of life, and it makes life feel like trash anyways. Otherwise you can dream about whatever the fuck you want to dream about, but it's the worst part is that everybody else's boxing championship looks like gold anyway. So it's all just going to be one normal fucking boxing match and you just sitting there trying to be in a fucking head or even cheat. But like, really, like, you have to accept that you're trash or something, because when I look back over it, like, all of these type of tactics, like, this is not how competition works. Even with other people that do cheat in those weird ways for themselves, I'm not talking about anything because I'm not even performing anything. I'm just talking about like the basic tactic that you are doing to even talk to me or get at me is so trash that I just want you to know the level of how stupid and wrong that you are for the universe, life, all the rules of life, that even if you got some kind of a win out of it, it's not going to create the person that you're looking for, or what you're trying to make, or the amount of defense that you think that you need or want from me about things in life that I don't even do. And even if like you're looking for power or just whatever your maneuver is, I hope it's just your stupid maneuver, because I don't know what it is because I don't operate that way. But if you're looking for power and strength and all these other things and virility and all this other bullshit and trash, wouldn't it be up to a certain amount where, don't you realize what you are doing is wrong? Strong people don't respond to you because they are not like that. They're not in your folder. They are not like that. They are just simply not like that. The things that are strong about me that I know about the world and what I could do, I still don't respond to you because these strong people would never respond to you that way. And it's weird because it's like, what the fuck are you getting at? Because it's like, even with sabotage, what if I can avoid the sabotage because I'm actually doing my fucking job? So even when I'm just laying there minding my own business, being lazy or doing something normal, and you feel like you've made effect on the world and me, like, thank you for the shitty compliment, but like, that's not how I move my tank around and blah, 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 blah. And of course I have to do multiple things to go and move my tank around, or, move, my machine, myself, my life, my mechanical animal, whatever the fuck that it is. I have to go move the fucking thing around. But why are you in competition with it if that's not ever how you're going to win, and that's not ever how you're going to be actually strong? So even when you're talking about like Thanos and imaginary crazy strong, even in the fake world where like a chi punch is invisible for the rest of the universe now because all of you have broken life down so much with your arrogance and ego that nothing actually exists for the real Kamehameha and all that bullshit. Like, none of that really exists anymore because you all's triviality, betting, egos, pretty much just go follow religion. Because after a while, you're going to see why I don't like betting on things, because you're not supposed to bet on other people's life and try to enslave them. Or to determine the power or the value of things in its inherence for what it's supposed to philosophically mean. And you really want to know, like, even from like the person who will not take you serious whatsoever, yes, the world cannot take you serious. And it comes down to like all the rest of the secret powers and dark and red chi left over, and how much does Goku and this other crazy motherfucker have. It does not matter. The reason I'm explaining this to you is that the world will never be able to take you seriously. And it's not even just because you seem like a cheater, because in the world there is no real rules. You're right about all that. There's no rule. You do whatever you want, your fantasies or whatever. But in the end, I'll never be able to take you seriously, because like all that shit that's off the road, like, and you did it off to the side, none of that's on the record for a fucking reason, man. People just got tired of your bullshit and hashed you the fuck out. Or maybe you got addicted to that fucking behavior. But by the end of it, it never counted to the real score, so we don't even care if you cheat. But looking for real power or asking me dumb questions or just provoking me all day and annoying the shit out of me in the world or the universe or the rules of fucking engagement or gratitude or graciousness or any of those fucking things is fucking stupid and fucking retarded. It's like you don't compensate the world for anything, but you're trying so hard to make a tactic real and good, but it's just plain and simple sabotage, and it's never been something that you do out of nothing but like desperation, I guess. But for what? And the philosophies you're trying to prove will never be correct, because even if you did and then it goes on to the greater world, it was for the philosophy or the greater meaning, not like why the fuck you were a saboteur or why it was just some fucking disgusting thing or an assassin of all things or things that we don't care about. Now, I hate saying that like James Bond and Goku and fucking Superman or Clark Kent and all this bullshit. There are no ways to explain to our feeble minds, it must be us being feeble if we're wrong, how to embrace that form of power or disgust or what's wrong in the world. These things will never really be fully tactics. Like, it's like the world was being less than and you used yourself as a weapon to take out the wrong part of the world, and we all kept going forward. Those are the people that made a sacrifice, that had less and knew that the world wasn't supposed to be less than what they were crippled by. Those people were a beautiful sacrifice or a beautiful donation to humanity. What you're doing in sabotage, like, and not even out of desperation for the better conclusion to what, a lesser world. Like, go ask yourself anything like, and like most of these people don't even understand internet bullies, all these other fucking trash trolls, all these other people that I do like them in somewhat intellectually on a real base level when they're being real. But when it comes to just like spiting the fucking world for no fucking reason, you really don't like pop mainstream culture things. And I'm not that into that stuff either. It just seems kind of lame about some of the things that they do and the way they try to apprise each other and putting on one of the extra few philosophies that I don't, and you know what's weird? I don't want to ruin the fun for them, because they don't even need to know what philosophies are against them secretly, because it's just not. It's just one of them things where I can't appreciate it for different reasons. But hating on pop culture when they're going the right direction about things, I don't do that either. So I leave you when you guys do that stuff. And even if you're like my beastie and all that bullshit, like you know, or whatever the fuck, it's still one of them things where like I'm no longer a piece of tool for you or strength or backing you up at those times, because I can't. It's just like you're gonna end up being wrong, or your overall philosophy isn't a greater philosophy that can abide by what the world's real meanings are gonna end up being, or you know, better achievement, you know, things that take us further to a greater place. And it's not like we're greedy, it's just kind of like, you know, what am I gonna do? Except just, you know, it's just a lesser world. Like, there's nothing I can do about any of that. But then we get back to the saboteur, the person that's just sitting there and then acting like they're trying to get help, but all you're really doing is like, you want help sabotaging somebody else. And like, I just don't owe you. Or like then you start playing a game with me because I just don't owe you, or I just don't want to work for you. So it's like I'm in the way. What the fuck you think I'm in the way? Well, like how am I in the way? Everybody else recommended me for the fucking job, and I'm sitting here like, what job? I don't even, well, why do I have to go and beat his ass or convince him of something? And they keep putting you up to me so that you won't go and attack somebody better than me. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, I've never challenged any of those people. I'm undecorated. I don't owe them a fucking thing. And all I do is mind my own business. I might be a good technician, but it's not like I sit around and wisecrack and talk about this shit. I think you're looking for somebody else, but I'm the only one noble left to barter with or talk to about it. And then like they're like, you know, putting me in the way of the person. Like, why don't you fight him before you try to take on the fucking holy champion or some shit? And I don't even know what to do with that. I'm just sitting there staring at you like, you better not talk to me, buddy, because I got no good answers here. Like, I saw what you did, and I can't condone that bullshit, and I keep withholding my response because it's like my ultimate normal, nice, calm, like subtle judgment wouldn't even help you. So I'm not even allowed to talk to you. Like, if you don't understand that, then let's go back to the concept of what I'm framing up for you besides my fucking ego and getting that out of the way, because that's what's requested more than anything. Now, asking somebody for help isn't supposed to be wrong, but like sitting inside somebody and like waiting to get them to work for you or trying to get them to do something corrupt or disgusting for you is technically a demon anyways, which I hate that part of demons. But in the world where demons and other creatures help out humanity, I won't even call you I won't even give you a life. How's that? But like when it comes to all the other ones that have earned families and worked hard for each other and still have bloodlines that are uncontraceptive to your bullshit and all that bullshit, or like what I'm supposed to say about it. But of course I don't attack no, like, you know, like what am I gonna say? Like, oh well, you can't do anything about that, but you did better than them, so well. Now back to the point. Since I can't concede and they can't concede because they never did and they just kept working hard, of course they're not the ones to blame. But by the end of it, you acting like an old school demon that can't control they fucking shit, and I just don't owe you anything. So the more you try to barter and become a merchant, or worse yet, what I described from the other country that we're from, is I'm not going to describe any of the shit in literal, because you don't really need to know that the other country actually has a conscience about any of this. So back to the fucking point. In literal, when you act like a demon, it's like you're a poacher to us. To the other one, it's like you a fucking merchant. And being split in between you two motherfuckers my whole life isn't something that I like because of these two things. One was a merchant, one was a poacher, and you gotta have a problem with merchandise and shit. And like, you know, of course. So on both sides, we don't need to like you. And there's a lot of things wrong with it. But then sitting there and acting like you calling for help this way, or like you're finding strength for the greater pursuit, like, bruh, you sabotaging what? And all the techniques are boiled down to such a base level that it wouldn't even matter, like, if I was fighting other champions or some bullshit, which I'm not, and we have no reason to fight in a greater universe spectrum of things. And it's just like so low-minded that you're calling such strong people, and like even when you start calling the Legion of Doom, which I forgot last round that we were talking, the Legion of Doom or something, even they don't want to help you. Even other villains don't want to fucking help you. And you start looking at it and you're like, yeah, bro, you trash. You're not even on the base spectrum of some thought with the rest of humanity, let alone decide where we go, what we do, or how to survive dealing with the rest of the universe, when none of us even put you at odds except for what you think you have to do to the world. And I think we all said no. Or I told you originally, even from my own baser level opinion on being as nice as I possibly can, even if I like tried to humor, I could not take you seriously. The world could not take you seriously. The universe could not take you serious. So I get back to the fucking point of like, you want to know what I'm saying, what that really means and what I feel like? Well, let's say we could smash off a part of the earth and not call it the moon or something floating around, and then you could decide everything that was supposed to be wrong with the whole universe, and then you could live there, or everybody else could live there, and it was like the rest of the world didn't exist, and we pretended something like that. Even if I had the strength to do that, I couldn't fucking whom you for a bigger reason than the whole universe decided. It's just fucking stupid for the whole universe to have less. Did you see how that went out? 25% of the world wants more than the meaning of money to themselves, but all they have is money. And fuck you all too while I'm at it. Because let's put this into perspective. We grew from this little tiny garden, and you're asking us big complicated questions about how to walk down through the woods and grab some basic utilities. It's all about the foundation of life. You're never gonna like it, but your parents kept saying work hard, and right next to them the other guy is like, maybe we should farm hard, maybe like, build a life hard. And you don't want to listen to him because he hurts profits. And of course you didn't slave for nothing, and other generations of families didn't slave for nothing. So all of that extra work that is technically for nothing to these workhorses, these oxes before it became a demon, and all those extra things all go into the abidement of, was it worth anything to us, humankind, and where they're going? Because even when you're sitting there and you go look at your life, you ever want to reflect with somebody who's tribal or from a different psychological than you on the red side or whatever? Because you may not even know what you're looking for or why the person had to answer or why you're stuck with me. And sometimes I'm sitting here and the philosophy is that, did you notice that when you are looking down the road and you have a goat or you have a motherfucking cow, and they're both looking at the same thing as you, and they know you're farming or you're building a road to go somewhere, and sometimes the animal just randomly fucking helps or is definitely staring at the same fucking things you are. And even when they're like, ooh, we get none of that, we don't get any of that, we still like, ooh, I'll leave a log right there, I'll poop there so I know where the plant's gonna be. Like, we don't care, bruh. That the universe cannot take you seriously. Even when it's like important to you, it's like, oh, okay, I'll leave that there if I get any of that poo-poo. Or if I, it's just that fucking serious. I can't take you fucking serious. So even when you're talking about sabotage, who the fuck was talking about sabotage? Dog, everybody's building something, doing something with themselves, and you the one sitting around like, I ain't gonna get the better of that guy. For what? He building a fucking road. And the only time we ever thought that kind of weird shit is like, no, that's too big, I don't want it, and it's stupid, and it seems like it's not going to be a part of like how I'm going to get more corn so I can eat some rice and beans and shit. Yeah, bro, very basic, but you asking power. And you don't even understand where power's from. Like, let me tell you something. Thanos is my fucking enemy, bruh. Me and Thanos are not cool, all right? But let's just put it in perspective, since people like to use your little enemies or those other adversaries that, like, aren't even really in competition. I'm not in competition with Thanos. I don't owe Thanos anything. I don't owe Hulk Smash anything. I don't owe these motherfuckers anything. And then I get back to the motherfucking point. Even when I could sell all the best weapons against them on the higher market, and I have such a campaign of power forged from the fire of my heart, I don't owe them a fucking thing. And let me tell you why. Besides that fucking point, look at what I'm really telling you and what I really would have to do. One, it's disgusting. Two, it's not even worth the world that anyone's making, and it seemed natural to make a world that they actually honestly wanted, whether it's my opinion or not. Now, of course, there's certain things about my opinion you can take advantage of, like, okay, I love pop culture music, but I don't love pop culture. So you can understand that, like, people do good work sometimes, but I can't, like, help them out on why I don't like them or why they're fucking stupid or why that was good music, but man, as a person, you're trash. Or like, not because of, like, sex, drugs, and alcohol and the basic stuff. I mean, life wants you to do those things, and just a lot of people are against that shit. But of course the goat wanted to fuck, or of course the cow wanted to fuck. Who cares? You know what I mean? That's fine. We don't give a shit about that. Like, you're against so many things that are like, man, you greedy too. Like, if the world just can't move, and then if you don't even realize you're against the concept of the world like living and the world moving and shit, and the whole world's like, well, no, I can't take you seriously either. And even when I don't, and I'm not talking about me, but even when, because I do pretty good, I do all right. But when it comes to like the world having to take things serious, you need to understand the perspective of where you need to take some things serious, and like why we said no. The world said no, motherfucker. And the grievance isn't like, oh, you have a new motherfucker to debate with. I'm not to debate with, motherfucker. My opinion was supposed to be given, and I didn't because I was afraid to affect your fate, because I wanted people to have a free fate. Even for the little troll online that every once in a while said something amazing, didn't know why. I considered the motherfucker important. I did, and I still do, because it's like, besides the fact that for some reason you all have to argue, my little internet nerd friend has been such a sweetheart, and a little ugly motherfucker like that, I will always fight for him, because I know that when odds are that they don't understand the world and that I'm an ugly fucking coyote or an ugly jackal or some weird shit standing next to a fucking goat and I'm not eating him, well, you have to understand something. You treated him so horribly that I don't owe you a fucking thing. I don't owe you what I'm hungry about. I'm liable to eat your fucking leg. Go wander, bitch. I don't owe you nothing. So even in the real terms of the world, world, you want to know why infinite strength and power will not help you, or even technique on the other side of it, trying to endow you, divinity you, dominion you, give you everything that it possibly can to get you to the next derivement, the division of that's what's necessary for you to get your ultimate sanity. And for what, really? Like, because I told you, those other animals and all of us are just looking at you on the side of the road, and we're like, I don't know, I'm not your astrological. I wish I was Virgo, but I'm not your astrological. But what I really wish is that you get that other piece of sanity, because it makes us all feel like, ooh, they found a goal. They found something to do. That's all. I'm putting it into perspective for you, and you're going to have to understand that all of this greater meaning and relishable gold and all this crap that I talk about when we're feeling high and human and great isn't wrong per se, but in the end, in perspective, get your thought. Go get your thought. I'm not here to block you. I'm not in your way. I don't want anything from fate. I wanted to give what I had left over, because that's what it takes, a collective, nourishment of us going forward and just randomly throwing shit out there. But when you misbehave, motherfucker, I don't owe you a fucking thing. And no matter how Big Daddy gets, I don't owe you a fucking thing. And you're gonna have to understand that bullshit. Even if you know something secretly about me, or where I'm teleporting to, or where I'm going to talk to somebody else about high divinity and all that bullshit, or the omniscience of everything else. It doesn't matter what the fuck you know. You know what you need to understand is that very simple complex. The very simple part of it is that you aren't trapped because you have something to do. That's it. That's all we wanted for you. And I wanted that for myself. We wanted that for every other child in the way. We wanted that for every other thing, essensing into life or whatever. There's a better word for it, but I don't think we innately need it right now, because it's fucking sicko to even bring it up to why I have to question you. Right. But anyways, by the end of it, the real answer is that you're looking for sabotage. And you're looking for sabotage. If that doesn't click together for you, then yes, I don't know what to explain to you. But that's after having to pretend that, of course, I know I'm talking to you. Now, let's get back to the greater meaning of this and why I'm going to explain it for the greater meaning of it. Besides that, you really need to understand that when you do that, the strength, because sometimes you get mad like a little child and you don't even know why you're mad, and I'm like supposed to be a beating board to you, but you're talking to the wrong one, because it's not like I survived because I was very good at tanking things, because that's one reason, but that's not the whole reason that I've dealt with a lot of juvenile behavior or hugging a lot of people's ugly. It's not like I'm actually invincible, but my threshold for where I attack is unpredictable and unknown, and you don't need to know that, like, why you're being punished, or in the court of law, in the court of humanity, it's really supposed to be known. It's not a weakness to me, so I don't mind telling you, but it's just very hurtful to the fact that the rest of fate wants to cut you off and throw you away. I didn't want to be that judge. I'm not here to make an effect on the world. My discarded parts that are better for humanity are better for humanity. The things that, or philosophies as they consider them, but like the things that I like about, what I think belongs in the world isn't up for dispute. So the things that you use to get here, find me, or other people use to have quality in me aren't really supposed to be important in this. So your behavior that dictated and determined what your punishment should have been, or what we couldn't give you, or what the world can't abide by, or why we just can't take you fucking seriously. So you a little shrimp bitch and I don't owe you anything. But the provocative behavior actually belonged to you. So why do I have to give you that back? So that you can try to step up the aggression again? All of it is a fucking trap, so I can't respond to you. But the things that I did give you that were responses that seemed insultive to you, like, damn near, like, what if I gave you a something equivalent of a tank spiritually, or something equivalent of a bunker? Like, and we're not talking about, like, military statue. Fuck that bullshit. I just don't know how to describe that to humanity. But in actuality, like, I gave you so many prized things. Even dance slippers were better than this. Even a fake drink bottle is much more appropriate than this. Even a golden piece of thread and a hunchback is better than this shit. And like you don't understand. Like, and it's just sad to know that even I don't want to be your parent, and we've been through, in all of my siblings that I do love and adore. But by the end of it, you have no idea what you're even scraping the plane of and where you're even going to this. So people that don't talk with wisdom anymore don't want to talk to you because you look like the fucking internet. You look disgusting, dude. Oh, most of the other better people in the world are damn near fucking Amish. You're lucky that I'm even around just being like, oh, that's cool. Oh, no, don't fuck yourself over. Or, man, that would be really cool. Nah, that wasn't bad, but why did you two have to argue? Like, you're lucky, bruh, because like everybody knows that like even when you're sitting there and you have no choice but to be born from snakes, demons, and other atrocities in the fucking world, whether alone the insects are the most powerful or not for no fucking reason and no one knows why, and then by the end of it, all of that fucking bullshit, you are lucky I even talk to you straight. Like, it's so difficult to find one of those things. I'm a fucking blessing, bro. I'm treating you good. But even when it comes into the endowment of all you wanted was power, then go talk to somebody else. But even when they bring you back to me, like, you should talk to him because he definitely knows how to use power, that doesn't mean that I owe you the fact that you should have treated it like a tool, because I don't even believe in that philosophy. That belongs to humanity. Yeah, there's a lot of shit I don't take from humanity either. So back to the fucking point, or the what I really should frame up to say to you. No matter what you do, when you're on there interfering with the person, you're a sabotager. You're not doing that to help yourself, me, or the river, or the lake, or wherever we eat at. You're not actually helping us. So don't try to convince me of that or convince yourself of that. Or in the end, didn't we already say collectively there's no better answer than pepper spray? Like, isn't it funny? Because it's laughable, because like of the whole universe of things, I'm glad that you bought some pepper spray and that you all take care of yourselves. Whether you're a man or not, like if you needed to go and be okay because some other philosophies wanted to be trash and then try to affect us, then yeah, buy some pepper spray, because it's not like you have to hammer them down because we all possess the power of Thor. And like, you know, whatever. Even if Thor had to pepper spray somebody, I would understand. You didn't want to fight him because that bitch wasn't worth any of us. So you pepper sprayed him like he was attacking a woman, because you have to. Some of these people are so closetly sick that like, we don't know what you're trying to win, but you right next to pervert, and I don't owe you his filing cabinet. I don't owe you the other motherfucker's filing cabinet. So get it together. Who are you really helping here? How much sabotage you gonna do? Whose side you gonna be on just to get the greater what? Philosophy? Because you're not breaking into those philosophies. But when it comes back to the point of getting the greater what, like, go get your thought. We weren't in the way of that. But when it comes to the other thing, like, why are you trying to sabotage people that are just stronger just to simply attain power? What are you, stupid? It's never going to give you much, and it should be for the greater goal. And it's not even like that's what power is, because that's the weird confusing part that no one tells you, is that Thanos is Thanos because Thanos is Thanos. Superman is Superman because Superman is Superman. Who else do I like? Colossus is Colossus because Colossus is Colossus. Hulk is Hulk because Hulk is Hulk. All those people are those people. The other thing that is the secret to power, you don't even need to know that, because somewhere in their consumptional ideals for life, they don't even have an idea of balance. So they left you the courtesy of thinking that if you all have belief in something, that you would be able to affect the world. And that's a fucking courtesy. You don't want to believe me? Oh, well, I don't owe you. But when you're looking for the secret of power and damn near any one of them can assassinate you, and you want to know why, and you just want to keep provoking them and calling them weak, be your ass careful, because you don't know what books you're next to and what words you're next to and what philosophies you're next to. Now, everybody else's Hippocratic oath is that, you know, thou shall not touch my motherfucking logic or some shit, or some shit. Because in the modern day world, this sounds like trash, don't it? But it's still the same rules as it always was. Try to obey something, because it's not like we're all doing this because we like life to look like fucking shit Jello. So go shake your ass anywhere you want. You understand? It's not like I have a fucking problem with Jello. You see, you want me to have a problem with Jello so you can see me inflict something. What are you trying to learn, you know? Like, and then by the end of it, just stop looking, because then everybody else who won any of things from these games, or it took them down, nobody describes how the fight was, because it was like, you probably did what your stupid, curious human ass did every fucking time. So maybe I don't owe you anything. So, you know, go back to the libations and go live and do whatever the fuck it is that you do. Or realize that, like, sabotage may only get you so far. Now, even when they keep bringing you back, don't you see the warning cursing? It's like they sitting there and they're wanting me to, like, do a bunch of shit to you. And, of course, I don't operate anyone's way. No one really knows how I operate. It's like an oasis of weapons. Like, why would I give a shit, right? Or why would they give a shit? But sometimes it's just like, well, well, he knows all these other rules and never broke him, and it's obvious that he does because he's just never accidentally broken a rule, or it's very obvious that he's aware of something not to do wrong, and then they want him to appoint you and me together, or point me on to you, basically, to make sure that you don't. But like, even though that's not my job and they know that, it's like they wanted you to learn from that, but like, you're only looking for power, and by the end of it, you're not like a juvenile or anything that needs to know anything from me or anything. So even by the end of it, it's like, if anything ends, they want me to teach you a lesson. The reason I'm not is because I'm like, I don't owe you that. I don't owe the universe that. And more importantly, the scrape of a plane that they're using to even deal with me isn't enough power to theoretically smash what they're looking for to argue with about a situation that is supposed to be bigger than me anyway. So I don't care. It's not about description of my power. It's just more about, do you realize why no one else is using those things as a tool to attack you, and why you may not need to or shouldn't do that to the other person? It's not like your mistake, but like I said, it's the power of braking. It's the power of like slowing down your fucking car when you need to, just to simply go do something. People are so obsessed with going fast and doing all this extra crazy shit. Well, did you ever take the time to just slow down and think, am I doing the right fucking thing? Maybe you should go do that, because sabotage doesn't work. And if what you're teaching to learn from me about the world and so on and so forth, about what I was or isn't, because I'm not even an assassin, I'm not even a saboteur, I'm not even like any of those type of things. I'm not even a myth demon or whatever the fuck. I'm not any of those things, and I'm closer to a myth demon, so I don't owe them much. Like, I don't even use hallucinations, so I just don't owe them much. And it's a part of those contracts where it's like, well, he's good and clean, so he probably doesn't owe you anything. But then by the end of it, it's just like, you know, that's probably a good rationalization to learn, but like, there was nothing to teach you about what you were looking for. You were so greedy or conceited to power that I couldn't help you, and they knew it and I knew it. But like, the way that I use power, I can't give you that either, because you wouldn't even understand the first art of calming the fuck down and realizing your opponent is not really looking for anything. Because all the better people than me, all of them aren't looking for anything like, they've already mastered themselves. It's something that you should be focused on. It's like, you know how much money and gold could be thrown in somebody's face, and you know why you have to say no. It's like 700,000 right now, as long as you remember that rap is built this way. No, I don't owe you. Rap is a free-range, beautiful animal, and I don't need to touch it. Or music is a beautiful animal, and I don't need to touch it. Or this is how much it takes for you to do this music video. These are things you will never understand about the concepts of war, or the concepts of strength, pride, and virility, or whatever the fuck that you want to call it. But the curiosity, it doesn't really fucking matter, because in the long run, you whatever. Anyways, but the long run is, you're gonna have to understand is that I'm not gonna teach you anything, and you already look like all of their enemies philosophically, and all the other best philosophical things you could come up with. I'm looking at some of their leaders even in my fake mind, and I'm like, holy shit, they don't even have anything on you all. So I can't even burden them a fake road to travel on with anybody else that could give them a greater, wider, stronger wisdom. So you're essentially just begging to them, no matter how you make that seem. So even when you threaten us and you keep pushing the bar back to see if there are anything, the only thing that's hanging out there is philosophies, and you didn't even bother reading any of those books or even picking up any of those pamphlets or something. That's how lame I gotta make it seem to the world for you to understand that you won't even bother with like the basic best part. Like, everybody wants to master Bruce Lee, but did anybody else want to take the time to read the fucking book or study the actual, like, you know, the actual martial art, or even like, you know, listen through any of his lectures and shit? There was hours and hours of lectures, and you could just sit through it and realize the explosion is timed correctly from the perfect amount of stance. Like, even that's not cheating, but you still gotta go and fucking rationalize through all that before you decide how actually fucking stupid you are as to go break your fucking ankle. You have to go and practice or do something else. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and my time. But just to be a saboteur and you look like that to all the rest of them, ain't nothing I'm going to say to you. I'll never talk to you. I'll never take you serious. The world can't take you serious. And then by the end of it, like, you want to know why nothing works and everybody's trash, then yeah, I can't take you all serious. And even when they try to blame me for an ego and arrogance, they have no idea. But even when they don't know me like that and they accuse me of something like that, I find it to be funny, because you wanted an ego so badly that you wish I fucking had one. And then I looked at it and I was like, Oh, and if I give you a fake one and then dance you into what your problem is psychologically, you hate that because you won't even reflect on that, and then you won't even read their philosophies. So philosophy to you is that. Now, what I'm left with is, why do you act like the rest of those things that are like next to demons? And that's 25 mil? 25 mil, get out of my office. Here's 25 mil. See, you don't know how worthless that is. And then when you sit there and you look at sports and you hate sports and everything else in pop culture, I don't like sports all that much either, but when you hate sports to a certain degree and these are part of the character flaws that you're carrying around, of course I'll never take you serious. Do you start to understand now? Right. Either that or you part of the world or something. But by the end of it, like, you get off on like, oh, I got a little scratch in, or he sneezed once. Like, you know what's really weird? Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. So when you just sitting on him or whatever fuck that is and all that bullshit, let's get back to the real point. About the only thing you can do from that position is sabotage. The other few things that aren't owed to you about the world, about the secret of strength, you're right, it just turns into a basic boxing match and no one really cares. The other utilities that could be used for cheating or could be forced, no one will tell you that, because it's supposed to belong to the world or the universe anyways. And even if you did, it better be for something or you won't last long type of crap, because then you're like another tool that they can just kind of scrape off and use until it breaks and throw it away, like, you know, like nothing. So that and the other thing, and then the more important part, and this is layman's terms before I really get into should I even explain to you how deeply specifically wrong you are. But by the end of it, let's get back to the real point about all of it. If that's how you're adding it up and there's no maneuvers left and you do find that kind of strength and there is no philosophy that you're working for and you think that that is power, when the other thing takes you with no rules or any explainable dimensional fragment formalities and all that bullshit, with none of that, how are you going to process the fact that everybody's power is invincibly unlimited to all capacity? And then by the end of it, it's just kind of like, whoop, right back to some basic stuff in life, and then you got to abide by those rules or we won't really listen to you or respect you anyway. But by the end of it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do you expect from me? And then you expect my help, and then you expect to know how I operate and how I work. Why are you trying to use me as a tool? Just because everything else in life is a tool doesn't mean that I'm a fucking tool. Secondly, you're never going to figure that out because you wouldn't obey any of these laws that I'm actually obeying about. And even when they say other masters claimed each other or earned their own respect, it's still the fact that, like, how the fuck would you know what they felt like, even if you were just watching them? And if you were watching them, wouldn't you immediately be on our side? Now, even when they say that that's the problem with superheroes or basic heroes or whatever the fuck, or sidekicks or whatever the fuck, I don't know, I'm just gonna guard the whole class while I'm there. But what it really belongs to the fact is that if that doesn't make sense to you, get the fuck out. Because even if you destroyed me, it would be the same as I was just minding my own fucking business and I didn't owe you anything, or you didn't break the philosophy anyway. And then by the end of it, like, ground out as a tool later, oh well, you didn't have a meaning either, so you're gonna start feeling really like the world you took advantage of and don't really realize that it was nothing at all. So by the end of it, you know, what the fuck are you looking to gratify? So even if you thought that, like, convincing me of helping you and then getting a misgeist out of the fucking person or me or whatever the fuck is like some kind of earnership, guess what? I wasn't being two-faced. You got what you asked for. Next time, don't mess with the genies or the seraphs. It's the same answer that I have to give. There's nothing I could ever find to break anyway. So, you know, stop looking. Or, you know, like, even the other good one just will not give a shit or help you. Like, and you wanted to know, and you're so frustrated, and you feel like provoking me and then even attacking me a little bit just to test out where I start boxing you at. Like, you're trash. I don't owe you. And even where I die is none of your business. And what if I do eat you on the fucking way out? What if you're so considering sabotaging me that I could just succumb you? The other people or you wanted to act like you were keeping me in line, keeping me going, keeping me fueled and motivated. I don't believe that trash. I'm not one of those artists that believes that I need the fire to argue with and to argue with you about some shit just to come up with something to think and do. No, you know what that is? That stupid fucking demon again trying to protect his fucking ass by sitting there making sure everybody's arguing over Frankenstein or some dead ass fucking conclusion that nobody owes or anything. All of that bullshit for fucking nothing. So don't talk to me about how the fuck you think that's gonna like keep me motivated. I don't owe you that. You're trash. You know what it is? You're trying to keep something off your fucking ass. So all I gotta do is sit there and be like, well, the only thing I want to say is, what did you do? But since I'm more mature and know better than that, like, I just let it go, and I started to realize, 25 mil for you too? You sellouts. Or how that, even I won't even say sellout, but even if you wasn't a sellout, it's still like 25 mil for you too? So go get rich. I don't give a shit. And you got everything that you want. You got all the grimy ass people in the world. What the fuck you want from me? Then go spit good and stop talking to me. Go grab some music then. Because then the only other thing you got on the animals is some music. And then get the fuck out. Oh, in a fucking garden with even better philosophies. You know what to do with that fucking garden. Get the fuck out of here. Sicko pieces of shit. And it's not like I like doing all that shit, but it's like I gotta say that shit because it's like, what are you gonna say when everybody's accent gotta sound like, guess what? You knew you was wrong, and that's gonna keep going. Get the fuck out of here. Culture. Exit row. Exit row. Exit row. Exit row. Exit.